Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're at today. Thank you so much for joining us for the inkFrog 2018 Tune-Up webinar. We're going to kind of go over how to add multiple eBay accounts, store connector option that's available, along with the sync settings feature as well. And then also we'll touch a little bit on profiles that are available to make your life a little bit easier in helping to list to eBay. So this webinar is kind of geared towards our existing users that kind of, could use a little refresh on certain features and functionality available within inkFrog, and then also to our new users as well, who may not totally be familiar yet with all the features that are available. So it's kind of a top-level overview of the features and functionality available. And then as we go through additional webinars, we'll kind of narrow it down, and webinars will be specific to certain features and functionalities, and we'll go a little bit more in depth in future webinars. So first of all, as always, for any questions or technical assistance you may need using inkFrog, always feel free to email open@inkfrog.com, and we're staffed 7 days a week on that help desk. All right, first we're going to move into adding multiple eBay accounts. So to add multiple eBay accounts, it is kind of subscription-based. We do allow up to 2 eBay accounts with the professional subscription plan, and then unlimited eBay accounts with the unlimited subscription plan. And then here too, you can always find our plans and pricing features by going to inkfrog.com and selecting pricing. When you're in the inkFrog account, so obviously on the initial setup, as you have probably all gone through already, the very first step will take you to connect at least one eBay account. Then going forward, should you have additional eBay accounts that you want to add, you'll go into your settings, you'll select eBay accounts, and you'll choose the Add Account button. And then extremely similar to how you signed up with inkFrog, it will take you through the eBay login process for your existing eBay account. And once that's completed, you'll then see, in addition to, you'll see all your separate eBay accounts listed here. So then once the eBay account is connected, any information that you have for existing live listings, sold orders, or any unsold listings from the past 60 days, they will import from eBay into inkFrog, and then they'll show in your inkFrog listing section within the inkFrog account. And then when you're in the listing section, you've got a few different options to see here. So you'll have your create new listing, pretty self-explanatory. That's how you can pull up the template to be able to create a new listing to list to eBay. Your library. The library is kind of, will show you everything that you've got. It's going to show you any listings that are currently in live status, any items that are considered unsold by eBay. Those will be in what we call ready status, so they're not yet live again to eBay. They're not yet relisted. And then any listings that maybe you use a create new listing, but you're not ready to send it to eBay yet. Once you create that listing, you can save it, and it'll show in your library in ready status to list to eBay when you're ready. And then what's also nice in the library is there's an option for filter listings. What that can do for you is it can allow you to sort your listings in your actual library to see which ones, if for some reason you want to see, what do I have that were unsold within this certain time frame? You can go ahead and do your filter listings, fill in that criteria, and you'll be able to see just those particular listings in your library. And it also allows you to save it as a tab in the library, so that if it's something that you continually want to see at a moment's glance, you can just go to your library, you can click on that tab, and you'll see those specific filtered listings. Then the next one is, after the library that shows you everything, the next one down you'll see is live. Very self-explanatory again. Those are any listings that are currently live on eBay. And then your sold orders displays any orders that have synced from eBay into inkFrog. Your unsold, So again, it'll display in your unsold folder what listings that have ended on eBay considered to be unsold, and then they can be relisted directly through inkFrog as well. And then the scheduled. So this I know causes some confusion at sometimes when you choose the option to launch immediately. Typically when you see scheduled, you kind of think, oh, if I schedule a listing, that's where it's going to show up, but then get confused when you go to launch a listing immediately. You want to list it to eBay right now, and it still goes into scheduled. So basically this folder is whenever listings are selected to list to eBay, even when you choose to list them immediately. It's kind of the processing queue, so to speak, to get the listing criteria over to eBay for eBay to process that listing to live. Okay, so next we're going to move on to the store connector feature, the sync settings, and the import. So at this time, the store connector in inkFrog allows to connect an Amazon, BigCommerce, or Shopify store. And the functionality of this is to be able to import existing products from the store that's connected into inkFrog to be able to list to eBay. Then also, once you have a store connected, if you have existing listings already on eBay and that product already exists in your store as well, then we offer an awesome solution here to be able to map your existing store products to the existing eBay listings during the import process. So this is huge in order to keep your listing history. You don't have to end eBay listings and start a new product over again, listing it new to eBay. And then also, you know, any of your listing fees with eBay, if you link existing store products to the existing eBay listing, it just starts the sync process itself, and it isn't considered a new listing on eBay. It's just that existing eBay listing. So to add a store within the store connector here in inkFrog, you'll go to Store Connector, select Add a Store, and you'll choose which store you have that you want to connect, either an Amazon, BigCommerce, or Shopify. Once you click the option that you want, there'll be prompts for you to enter your store information, and then it'll also prompt you to log into the admin owner account for that particular store. And then once that's completed, then the next very important step here is the sync settings. And the reason these are so important is because the sync settings and how they're selected in inkFrog for that store connection is going to be how your products sync between your store, inkFrog, and eBay after they've been imported into inkFrog and listed to eBay. So these are very important to be selected, and we highly recommend that you select them prior to importing. Now, they can be changed at any time if for some reason you decide that how you set it up initially, that isn't really working well for my business, so I kind of want to change it. You can certainly change those at any time for your sync settings, but they're very important to be set up as a next step right after your store has been connected. Okay, so these, I'm not necessarily going to go through all this here. I did include a handout that you should be able to access here in the GoToWebinar, kind of where the chat feature is, where you logged into. So I'm kind of just going to touch on these, but you should be able to access that handout to get a little more in-depth explanations and links in here to get you to different guides and things. So one also key thing to remember is that if you've got products that are kind of, you know, custom on-demand products, you never run out of them. Maybe you're the manufacturer for them. Maybe they're custom t-shirts, that sort of thing. But you've always got stock available. You'll never run out, and you don't have to track inventory in your store. Then in inkFrog, all the products will import in with a quantity of 1 available. And as they sell on eBay, it'll continually restock itself to show 1 available. So again, that is if you are not tracking inventory in your store. So for when you are tracking inventory in your store, then your sync inventory inkFrog from inkFrog to your store, when that's selected to on, basically what that does is if you make manual adjustments to the inventory in inkFrog, or as orders sell on eBay, that will automatically update back to your store and adjust your inventory in your store. And then when you have that selected to on, you then get a subset of options for sync orders. This I know has been a great feature for us in that we're able to get your eBay orders synced from eBay into your store so that you can fulfill them in your store. And how they come into your storefront is the same as if an order sold off of your actual website itself. So what's nice about that is whatever fulfillment processes you have in place that get triggered when you have an order, it'll automatically trigger those same processes. So what's nice about that is that you don't have to worry about fulfilling eBay orders separately, is that you can just continue your same flow in your store to get those eBay orders fulfilled. Once they're fulfilled, the information automatically syncs back into inkFrog, and then we'll update to that eBay order as well on eBay. So you can kind of use your store as you normally are and not have to worry so much about having to do things separately in eBay. So you're just still housing everything in your store. So that's a nice feature that's available. Sync inventory from store to inkFrog. So when you are tracking inventory, obviously you want to be able to use your storefront inventory as your primary source of inventory. And you can continue to do that with using inkFrog in your sync settings here. So inventory updates will either, if you do something manual to adjust your inventory levels in your actual store, that'll sync to inkFrog and update to your eBay listings as well. And then also too, as your store has sales on the website, obviously that inventory will adjust, and then Shopify will push that inventory adjustment to inkFrog and eBay as well. And then what's nice about this is we also have a subset of features that will allow you to have the option to have different quantity available on eBay versus your total inventory that's showing in your store. So a lot of these features here about the separate inventory quantity are nice in that, you know, we understand that there's eBay listing limits in place. So what this allows you to do is lower your inventory quantity available for eBay so that you can continue to list additional items, as many products as possible on eBay directly. So once you have the allow separate inventory quantity to on, then a subset will also come up for your restock eBay inventory when store products revised. So what that means is that when you restock inventory in your Shopify or Shopify, BigCommerce, or Amazon, then you can have it so that it will restock to inkFrog and eBay as well. And what you have the opportunity to do is, with the resulting eBay quantity limited to X, you can leave it blank, no limit, meaning that if you restock, and let's say the product you restock in your store is 100 items, then what'll happen is the quantity of 100 will then sync into inkFrog and update to eBay as well. If you want to stay within eBay listing limits and you know that you need a lower quantity available, then what you probably want to put in there is maybe resulting eBay quantity limited to 10. So what'll happen is you restock the inventory to 100 in your store, but the max amount that's going to restock in inkFrog for eBay is a maximum of 10 available. and then you're automatically restock eBay inventory. So what's nice about that feature is you can set it to say when quantity reaches, referring to your eBay quantity, let's say when quantity reaches 2, set to fixed amount, or you can select an option that says set to percentage of store quantity. For this purpose, I'm just going to use fixed amount. So let's say when quantity reaches 2, set to fixed amount 10. So what that'll do is when the eBay listing hits to say 2 available, the system will check with the store that's connected to see what the total quantity is that's available in the store. And if it is, using this example, if the quantity available is 10 or more, then the eBay listing will automatically restock itself to show 10 available. And that cycle will continue until it checks the Shopify, and let's say there's only 2 available at that time, then the eBay listing is only going to stay at 2 available. It will not restock itself unless there is enough quantity available showing in your storefront. eBay quantity import limit. So, staying with the kind of the theme of helping you list as much product as you can to eBay, staying within your eBay listing limits. What this will do for you is you can put eBay quantity import limit. Again, let's just say 10. I'll kind of stick with that. So if you put eBay quantity import limit as 10, then when you go to select products to import into inkFrog, the max quantity available to start off with on your eBay listing will be 10 available, regardless of the total quantity you have in your store. So if you have an inventory of 100 available for a particular product, the max quantity that's going to import into inkFrog to list initially to eBay is going to be 10. Now, if you have less than 10 available, let's say you've got a couple products that have 2 or 5, those are going to import in with the exact quantity that's available. So it's not going to import quantity of 10 unless there is 10 or more available showing in your storefront that's connected. Okay, so in those sync settings, this is what you're going to see here to be able to select. So this is the inventory sync settings. This is what you're going to see. And then one thing I wanted to point out too is that when you enable the sync orders, there is a little settings option here, which will then open to this option right here, the order sync settings. So let's say you've got a fulfillment service already selected. Let's say it's maybe Amazon fulfills your orders, or whatever the case may be. You go ahead and click your drop down there and select it to match how your fulfillment process is set up in your Shopify. So, and then also too, you can delete orders to change paid status. There's a couple other information here as well that, I'd recommend highly if you're going to do sync orders, definitely do the settings option here just to review those, just to be sure that everything is going to sync properly for you on the fulfillment side when it syncs to your store. So again, these were kind of all that I just went through here, the restock. This one's left empty. Now in this scenario here, so kind of if you keep everything kind of the same when you're doing your allow separate inventory, so your restock, your automatically restock, and your quantity, eBay quantity import limit, what we kind of recommend is having all these numbers kind of the same, only because a lot of the times the reason you're setting this, again, is to keep within your eBay listing limits. So it kind of makes sense to, when you restock in your store, to have it only do up to the 1. If for some reason you have low limits on eBay, or if maybe you've got, you want to do the 10, then you'd put 10 here. And then when the quantity reaches 0, or you could put whatever quantity you wanted, set to fixed amount of 10. You could even put here when quantity reaches 9, set to fixed amount of 10, if you wanted the eBay listings to continually stay at that 10 available. And then same thing for the eBay quantity import limit, would recommend that you do, 10 there. So you initially start off with your 10, and then this will start to kick in, and then so does this as well. So it all just kind of flows together and keeps a nice even sync. All right, some additional sync settings that we have available, which are kind of nice. End eBay item is out of stock. So what that means is if the quantity reaches 0 in your storefront, we can go ahead and just end that eBay listing completely for you. And then we also have too, if you want to have a little bit of a cushion for those off chances that maybe somebody clicks at the same time on your website as they do on eBay for that very last item that's available, for those, off chances that happens, if you want a little bit of a cushion, you could do consider item is out of stock if store quantity falls below, and maybe you put, 3, so that when it falls below 3 and hits the 2, the eBay listing will, will kind of end itself so that you don't run into the double orders, one on eBay and one on Shopify or your store that's connected at the same time. So it kind of just gives you that nice cushion, nice buffer there. And eBay item is deleted. So this is huge in that if you delete a product from your store, most likely you're not going to be selling that product any longer. And since that's the case, instead of you having to worry about going into eBay, ending the item, or even coming into inkFrog to end the item, selecting this option to on will automatically do that for you. So you delete it in your store and it'll automatically end that eBay listing. And eBay item is hidden / archived. So this one can get a little iffy on turning it on or leaving it off. So if you only use end eBay item is hidden or archived, if you only use it when items go out of stock, I might recommend just leaving this to off because you have end eBay item is out of stock already enabled. So that's going to take care of that already when the item goes out of stock. Now, if you have, let's say, maybe seasonal items, maybe you do some things at holiday times that you don't know, sell throughout the year. If you hide or archive those in your actual storefront and you want the eBay listing to end at the same time you do that, then you want to go ahead and select that option to on. Disable product on bid. So what that means is if some of your items you're going to list to eBay are going to be auction listings and not fixed price listings, if you enable this to on, the disable product on bid, what happens is that when you get your first bid on that particular auction item on eBay, it'll disable the product from being able to be purchased on your site until that listing has completed its cycle. So what's nice about that is when you're doing an auction item, if you've got just the one left available, then you're not going to have to worry about somebody purchasing that on the storefront side before you have to give the auction away to somebody on eBay side for a buyer that actually bid on the item. The import new variants from store. So with that selected to on, as long as the initial product imported into inkFrog showing variations available, so it's a multi-SKU listing for eBay, multi-SKU fixed price, shows variation options available, as long as it was initially imported that way, then as you add new variations to that store product in your store, it'll automatically push those new variants into inkFrog, and then we'll also update those variants to eBay as well. Push new variants to store, that's a feature I don't see utilized very often, which is kind of understandable, given that typically when you're connecting a storefront, you kind of have a kind of a rhythm in place where you know how to add variants in your store product, you're familiar with that process. I wouldn't recommend trying to change that and using inkFrog to add variations to push to your store product. I'd recommend just keeping your storefront as it is. If you've got the import new variants from store already to on, those variants are coming from your store into inkFrog to update to eBay anyway. Allow disabling variants. So if you were to select that to on, what that means is when your product imports into inkFrog, you have the opportunity to disable particular variations from being able to be available on eBay. So for example, you'll import, let's say, a t-shirt from your store into inkFrog, and it's got maybe three different colors. And for eBay, for some reason, you only want to sell one color of that particular item. Maybe you're doing it as a test. Maybe you just want to get rid of that particular color first, whatever the case may be. When the product imports into inkFrog, you can go into it and you can click an option to disable those other two color variations so that they do not show on eBay. They'll still remain on your actual store product itself, so it does not affect the store product itself, just the listing on eBay. Import limit. So the import limit feature is mainly if you've got, I'd say probably once you get a little bit over 1,000 products available, you might want to select that option for import limit, just so that when you go through the import process, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, it'll be a little bit easier on yourself, and it'll be easier on the system as well to get your products in and listed. Okay, so after you've done, again, I can't stress enough how important the sync settings are prior to getting to importing your actual product. So once you've got that, a very important step of your sync settings selection, then the next step will be to import your products from the store to inkFrog to be able to list to eBay. So in inkFrog, you'll go to your store connector, and then you can select the store name below store connector, and it'll get you to this page that you see here. If it already hasn't been completed, it'll require some initial setup steps. So the first screen here will show for your inventory location. So that's where your products are going to ship from, is the information that you'll want to put into here. And then also you'll choose your eBay market here as well. Okay, and then the next step here will be selecting your top level categories. You don't have to have 5 categories. There's just an option here to allow up to 5 top level categories. These are not getting into the eBay subcategories. So if you're selling clothing and you just sell men's t-shirts, then what you're going to choose here is you'll just choose the clothing, shoes, accessories. And then once you get to the import process, in the mapping stage is where you'll see that the products will map to the subcategories underneath the clothing, shoes, and accessories. So right here is just your top level categories for your product. Payment. So this right here will be starting to set up your default payment setting or default payment profile that will be attached to all your listings that you import from the store. The PayPal email address that's required here is the PayPal email address that you already have connected and verified directly in eBay. So it'll have to match what shows already in eBay in order for eBay to accept the listings to go live. And then if you have sales text, you can select the option to apply the sales tax here. And then also in this drop down here, it will show you an option if you're using tax tables in eBay, you can select to use your tax tables. And then next will be your shipping. So here's what you're going to see first. And as you can see, if you're already enrolled in the global shipping program directly through eBay, you can go ahead and check this box here to use the eBay global shipping program. And then this is where you can select your handle time. COD cost typically does not apply. I think it may apply on some international, possibly some international shipping with the eBay side, but domestically that certainly doesn't apply the COD cost. And then you can select here on what locations for international you want to include. Worldwide includes everybody. And then you can also select to exclude certain locations in this option as well. And then below all of this is where you're going to select your domestic shipping services. So you choose your shipping service. If you want to offer free shipping, there's the box to select for the free shipping, or you can input your cost. And then if you do an each additional item cost, maybe you do a discount for each additional for your shipping, you can go ahead and input that there as well. And then also if you're using any discount profiles, like promotional ones or flat rate discount profiles directly in eBay, you can go ahead and select those options here as well. And you can add multiple shipping services too. So let's say you just wanted to do UPS as a free shipping, select your UPS, do free shipping, and then add your additional services and then do your cost. And here too, it will also, the drop down will show you for calculated, you could do flat domestic and calculated international, or you can do flat for all, which just choosing flat will be flat for domestic as well as international. And then there's also a calculated option that will do calculated for domestic and international as well. So you'll see certain options here when you're able to click that drop down. And then you'll fill in your international shipping services. And then again, if you're using any promotional discount profiles or any flat rate discount profiles directly in eBay, you can select those options as well for your international. Okay, and then the next final step for your initial setup setting will be to set up your default return setting. So this automatically defaults to the eBay recommended settings. Obviously, you can change those. eBay does recommend your 30 days money back, buyer pays for shipping, and no restocking fee. But obviously, we've got the same options available here that would be available on eBay as well if you were doing a listing directly on eBay. So you can select. And then if you do not accept returns at all, just go ahead and uncheck this box, and then you'll click finish. Then once you click finish, what will happen is the system will say, all right, we're gathering your product data. So it's reaching out to the store that's connected for the store to provide the list of available products to be able to import and list to eBay. Once that's complete, this is what you're going to see here. And then you'll see you've got two options: import all or manually select which products to import. Now, if you've got products that all fall into the same eBay category as well as subcategories, I would highly recommend using your manually select products to import. And then when I get to the next step of this, you'll kind of see why that would be extremely helpful, because when you click the manually select which products to import, you'll get an option to be able to kind of filter your products based on the information that was provided from the store. So you could do it by like vendor if you have them grouped by vendor in your actual store, and the store actually provided that same information to inkFrog itself. You can sort it by product type. If you're using certain folders, or you've categorized it by product type in your actual storefront, and that information was provided by the store, you can go ahead and select particular products by group. And then in doing so, once you have your product selected, once you click next, then it's going to bring you to this phase of the review, which is the review map and list page. So this gives you the opportunity that we highly recommend you take the time to review it, at least spot check, right? And if you've got products that were selected and they're all going to fall in the same eBay category and subcategories, I've got a great solution for you right here. It's change category for all products in list. What this does, you don't even then have to look at what categories were selected for those particular products. You just click on that change category for all products in list option. You select your eBay category and subcategory, click your continue, and it's automatically going to update to your selected products here on those particular eBay categories and subcategories. So what you'll want to review here though too, on top of the eBay categories, is confirming the brand's product identifiers, provided the accurate item condition, provide additional item specifics. If you want to do that here, you would just click on the particular product title, and then over here is where you're going to see the actual product detail that will allow you to do that in this screen. If you don't have the time to take to do it in this actual screen here, and you know that you have additional time to review before you actually want to list to eBay, that's okay. You don't necessarily have to do it here, because we have an option when I get to the import and list part to do an import only, which will allow you to take additional time with each of those items to be able to update accordingly. And then also too, earlier when I talked about the mapping your store products to existing eBay listings, this is the step that you're going to want to do that here. And then this one, like if you see a blue link symbol, that means that the product that you're importing already matched itself up based on your, it's typically based on title. So if the title matches what the eBay listing shows as well, the system should automatically catch that, and it'll automatically link it for you, so you don't have to do anything to get that to map. But this is critical in if you do have those existing listings and the same product as this exists in the store, this is exactly where you're going to want to follow the steps. And I provided a link in that handout. That's where you're going to follow the steps to map your store products to the existing eBay listings. Okay, and then when you're at the review map and list page, so you'll probably see a few different notifications. So they're indicated by a yellow triangle, an orange triangle, a blue link, which I just touched on a little bit, and then a green check mark. So one key piece here is the yellow triangle. So this sometimes will get overlooked in that because it is only a warning, so it doesn't prevent the product from importing into inkFrog. What the warning indicates is that the particular categories and subcategories that were selected for that particular product do not support variation listings on eBay. So what that means is that when you see the yellow notification, you'll want to review that product. And then you'll also want to review this multi-variation list tool that connects directly to eBay's lookup tool to find out maybe if there's a different category and subcategory that eBay does support variations on, to be able to list all your particular variations that you have with that product on eBay. Otherwise, if it gets ignored, or if you're okay with it, what happens is the product will still import into inkFrog, but it will import with only one option available. So it'll import as a single SKU listing to eBay. Your other particular variants will not show available. And the only way to get those other variations in would be to remove the product from inkFrog, do a rebuild on your store connector import page re-import the product, but make sure you select an eBay category and subcategory that eBay does support variation listings on. The next one, the orange triangle. So this orange triangle, this will not import the products into inkFrog. And the reason is because for whatever reason, the system itself couldn't particularly find appropriate eBay category and subcategories to go with that particular product. A lot of times the reason is that it's got multiple keywords in it that the system's looking for, and it can't truly decide which eBay category and subcategory options it should belong to. So for the orange trial notification ones, you'll need to click on the product title and select the appropriate eBay category and subcategory for it. So that's, again, why I was kind of saying that if you import by product type, select multiple products that will share that same eBay category and subcategory combination, it will help to eliminate any of the products that come in having to individually go through those and update each one that has the orange triangle, because you could use that change category for all in list option. And then the blue link. So again, that's indicating that the product importing from the store, the system was able to match it to an existing listing showing in eBay. And I should say in inkFrog, because the existing listing doesn't have to be live on eBay. If it's in inkFrog already and it's in ready status, maybe it's one that was prepared but not sent to eBay yet. Maybe it's one that was an unsold product showing in ready status, or if it's in live status. Either way, the system will be able to determine that it's actually in inkFrog, and it'll map that particular store product to that particular listing showing in inkFrog. And then you'll see that when you follow the map existing. So if it doesn't automatically match, there is a way to click on the title of the product in the review map and list page. You'll click on that, and then you'll see a box in there that shows that where you can actually link that to an existing listing. So it'll let you choose from any listings showing in inkFrog that are not yet linked to an imported store product to be able to link it in the review map and list page. And then whatever it has, if it has an orange triangle, a yellow triangle, or a green check mark, once it's linked, it'll turn to the blue link symbol. The green check mark, that's the notification that the software attempted to find the appropriate eBay category and subcategory best suited for the product based on the title. Now, again, we do recommend, if you are planning from the review map and list page to list directly to eBay and not do an import only, we do highly recommend that you kind of at least spot check, go through these, even if they have a green check mark, just to be sure they're in the eBay category and subcategory combination that you would choose. Okay, so this is kind of what I was talking about as well here. Once you've gone through that review map and list page, then up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see an import and list button. When you click that, it'll then prompt to this page will pop up for you. So you can import and list to eBay, meaning that if you select that option, those products will go into that scheduled folder in inkFrog to then list live to eBay. So it'll go through that processing queue, and those items will also be in inkFrog as well. If you choose import only, and all the selected products in the review map and list page that either have, the blue link symbol or the green check mark, those will import just into inkFrog. So they'll be in your inkFrog library. They'll be in what we call ready status, and then you can list those to eBay when you're ready. All right, so the next thing we're gonna touch on here, and I'm not gonna go super in-depth here for profiles. Again, maybe in, a webinar or two, down the road, maybe we'll do a specific webinar related to profiles and kind of go through how to create them and things like that. But for right now, I just wanted to touch on like what they can be used for. And they can really make your life very much easier. Your shipping, payment, and return profiles, we just went through how if you're connecting a store, you automatically set up default profiles while you're doing your initial setup steps. And then in inkFrog itself, when you go to profiles, you can create additional profiles as well if you needed to. So the first one that you'll see when you go to your profiles in inkFrog is master profiles. So these can be used and make your life so much easier if you're listing just to eBay. So if you're not having a store connection, if you're just doing listings just to eBay, they'll sync between inkFrog and eBay only. Then the master listing, you can create one, or sorry, master profile, you create one so that you're not having to input all the same information over and over. If you've got a lot of similar items that share very specific information, such as your eBay categories and subcategories, you want it to always have the same template attached if you're using templates, that sort of thing. So you can create the master profile so that when you go to create a new listing, there's an option that says pre-fill, and you select the drop-down for pre-fill, and you can click in master profile, select which master profile you want in there, and it'll pre-fill that information. So all you need to do is update your title, input your description, and then add your additional images. Listing profiles, those are to save frequently used details like your category, item specifics, auction format if you're doing auction or fixed price, your listing format, and then you can also save the price in there as well if you've got items that share the same price, or you can just continually update the price if needed. Your shipping profiles, pretty self-explanatory, frequently used shipping details. So kind of how we went through, and if you set up the shipping details like we went through in the initial setup steps, the shipping profiles are set up the same way when you go to create new. So if you've got some items that you just want to have one shipping service available and it's the free shipping and it's just for your items that are, you know, $5 or whatever the case may be, then you can create a specific shipping profile to attach to the listings that are $5, that type of thing. Return profiles, save your frequently returned details. I do notice quite a bit that a lot of times with returns and then also with payments, there's a lot of times it's only one particular profile because it's, you know, a lot of what I've seen with integrations and things is that, you know, it's pretty much standard across the board no matter what type of product it is. But there are also some that have multiple, maybe one payment profile you want to do requires immediate payment. Maybe the other profile you want to have for some items that doesn't require immediate payment. So those would be where you want to set up different payment profiles to attach to those particular items. Okay, and then in inkFrog, so to create or update existing profiles, you'll go to Profile, select the profile section that you want to either create or update an existing. What's nice about this is once you've created a profile and you've assigned it to particular products, when you go in next time and you update that particular profile, except for the master profiles will just create you a new listing. You can't go into a master profile and have it update to listings that you created with that particular master profile. But the listing, shipping, payment, and return profiles, anytime you go into those and make a particular change, that will automatically update for you to all the products that already have that particular profile attached. So you're not having to worry about going individually and either re-uploading or resaving. Once you click save, that change will automatically update for you. All right, so like I said, this was kind of a high-level overview, and as we go through additional webinars throughout the year, we'll kind of dive in section by section within inkFrog to be able to go in more in-depth review. Maybe we'll have some live demos on going through the actual process, but we just kind of just wanted to give, again, a refresher to our existing inkFrog users, and then also an introduction kind of to anyone that's new to inkFrog itself. And as always, we're available 7 days a week at our help desk, open at inkFrog.com. And if you have any questions that may have been submitted here that have not been answered yet, please go ahead and submit those questions to the open at inkFrog.com, and we'll get to them as quickly as we can. All right, everybody have a great day. For anyone that has a wonderful 3-day weekend coming up, enjoy your weekend, and thanks again for joining us. We'll see you guys again soon.